migrants and dreamers, can a single identity truly define its soul? The signs are telling. Slogans, cultural processions, calls to prioritize Marathi in signage, jobs, education. But is the goal to really protect the language, or is it about reclaiming lost political ground? This isn't the first time, ladies and gentlemen, that language has been weaponized in Maharashtra politics. From the Shiv Sena's rise in the 1960s to recent tensions between political allies turned rivals, identity politics has always run deep in Maharashtra's veins. And here's the risk. When identity becomes a litmus test, inclusivity becomes a casualty. So tonight we ask, are politicians using cultural pride as a cover for vote bank engineering? Will the language divide be the new battleground for old power struggles? And more importantly, what happens to the idea of Mumbai as a city of coexistence, when lines are drawn between who belongs and who doesn't? The fight for language rights is legitimate, but not if it's driven by electoral arithmetic. Because if politics pits Marathi versus non-Marathi today, what's next? Region versus religion, Mumbai versus Maharashtra. At what point do we stop and ask who is really benefiting from this divide? First up the story, then I bring in the guests.
Brazen MNS on Mumbai street, claiming to be protesting to uphold the Marathi pride. Days after its workers have been caught beating and abusing people, the self-claimed protectors of Marathi hits the street. Thousands gathered in Mira Bhayandar for a rally organized by the Marathi Ekikaran Samiti in collaboration with the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena. The event was positioned as a counter-protest to a traders' rally held earlier against the MNS. Despite the massive turnout, the administration denied MNS the permission for the rally, citing logistical concerns. Notices were issued to organizers and participants, and multiple preventive detentions were also carried out.
मैंने जब पुलिस कमिश्नर से पूछा तो पुलिस कमिश्नर ने मुझे कहा कि हमने उनको रूट चेंज करने के लिए कहा था, लेकिन वो एडमंट थे कि हमको ये रूट लेना है, इसलिए पुलिस ने उसको नकारा है। छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की, छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की, छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की।
ते आजचा आमचा मराठी भाषेची आग्रही मागणी आहे, मराठी भाषेचा मोर्चा आहे। आम्हाला
काय मांग काय तुमची मांग काय?
आम्हाला आमच्या राज्यामध्ये मराठीचा आदर झाला पाहिजे, मराठी बोलता आलं पाहिजे।
The police crackdown sparked strong reactions.
महाराष्ट्राचे मुख्यमंत्री, महाराष्ट्राचे गृहराज्यमंत्री यांनी असं सांगितलं की आम्ही मोर्चाला परवानगी देत होतो, फक्त रूट बदलायला सांगत होतो. मला स्पष्टपणे सांगायचं आहे की मोर्चाची परवानगी पोलीस द्यायला तयार नव्हते, आणि जो रूट बदलण्याचा विषय आहे तो ते आम्हाला सांगत होते. घटना घडली मीरा रोडमध्ये, व्यापाऱ्यांनी मोर्चा काढला मीरा रोडमध्ये, आणि आम्हाला सांगत होते मोर्चा काढा घोडबंदर रोडला. मला सांगा, मीरा रोड मधल्या घटनेचा घोडबंदरला कोणी मोर्चा काढता का?
Some days back they had given permission to non-Marathis to do a andolan. Now when Marathi people or Manse people are thinking to do a andolan or a demonstration, then this government denied permission to them. But BJP is purposely making a war between Marathi and non-Marathi, looking at Mumbai election and Bihar election.
Shortly after Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis explained the police action, his own alliance colleague, Thane MLA and Transport Minister broke ranks, rushed out of the assembly and joined the protest. However, he was later heckled by the crowd.
नहीं जा रहा हूँ मीरा भाईंदर में, अगर पुलिस की हिम्मत रहेगी तो पुलिस प्रताप सरनाईक को गिरफ्तार करके दिखाए।
सर, पर चीफ मिनिस्टर ने कहा है कि रूट ठीक से सिलेक्ट नहीं किया गया था।
जो कुछ भी रहने दो, सभी मराठी भाषिकों को उठा के उन्होंने जेल में डाला है, वो सभी मराठी भाषिकों को छुड़ाने के लिए।
Later, representatives of the other two Senas of Shinde and UBT camps were also seen at the protest site, trying to seen standing with the Marathi cause. While Netas have their political compulsions, over the last few days, NDTV has been running a persistent campaign against MNS hooliganism and violence. They have shown their crass actions, whether it was beating of a shopkeeper or when MNS Neta's brat son was seen abusing a woman in drunken and half-naked state.
बिल्कुल लोगों को मराठी सीखनी चाहिए, पर किसी को मार के मराठी कोई नहीं सीख पाएगा। मार के हम कभी कोई काम नहीं कर सकते हैं, बट हाँ, हम प्यार से जो चीज़ करवा सकते हैं, कभी गुंडागर्दी से नहीं करवा सकते।
We have been putting all the tough questions to the authorities and demanding action against shameful conduct of Raj Thackerays party. Adding fuel to the fire were controversial remarks by BJP MP Nishikant Dubey.
कि जब अपने घर में हो, महाराष्ट्र में हो, यदि बहुत बड़े बॉस हो तो चलो बिहार, चलो उत्तर प्रदेश, चलो तमिलनाडु, तुमको पटक पटक के मारेंगे।
The comments drew sharp criticism across party lines. Many saw this as a deliberate attempt to stoke Marathi versus non-Marathi tensions in the city right before the BMC election.
भाजपचं जे प्लेबुक आहे, तोडाफोडा राज्य करा, दोन समाजामध्ये असेल, दोन जातींमध्ये असेल, दोन धर्मांमध्ये असेल, वाद लावा, वाद निर्माण करा आणि स्वतःची पोळी भाजा. इक्बाल मिरची बरोबर ज्यांनी व्यवसाय केला ते त्यांच्या पक्षात आहेत, सलीम कुत्ता यांच्याबरोबर जे नाचले ते त्यांच्या पक्षात आहेत आणि कदाचित दाऊद देखील त्यांच्याच पक्षात असतील.
निशिकांत दुबेंनी आधी स्पष्ट करावं त्यांना बिहार सोडून झारखंडला का जावं लागलं.
Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis distanced himself from Dubey's remarks and said such statements must be avoided.
निशिकांत दुबे यांचं जर तुम्ही पूर्ण ऐकलं तर ते संघटनेच्या संदर्भात बोलले आहेत. ते मराठी माणसाला त्यांनी सरसकट त्या ठिकाणी म्हटलेलं नाही. तथापि माझं मत असं आहे की अशा प्रकारे बोलणं योग्य नाही आहे, कारण त्याचे जे अर्थ निघतात ते अर्थ हे लोकांच्या मनात संभ्रम तयार करतात.
The language row has intensified here in the state of Maharashtra, especially after the involvement of political parties and civic societies. At the same time, statement by Bharatiya Janata Party Member of Parliament Nishikant Dubey, which is extremely controversial, has also shed light on whether this is just an attempt to create political fodder by the ruling dispensation. With camera person Mahesh Halwai, this is Anuj Rai reporting for NDTV from Mumbai.
And joining me now is senior Congress leader and former Congress chief of Maharashtra, Nana Patole. How do you see this entire Marathi versus non-Marathi narrative which is playing out on the streets? Of course, this is happening at the epicenter of, or should I say the birthplace of a Shiv Sena, that is Thane. And particularly, I want you to explain to us what does the Congress think about the role of Uddhav Thackere Sena in this?
देखो, महाराष्ट्र में जो मराठी और हिंदी भाषिक की जो लड़ाई शुरू करने का काम है, सरकार प्रायोजित है. महाराष्ट्र में कभी भी नहीं था ये कि इस तरह की मराठी और हिंदी भाषिक, क्योंकि मुंबई तो एक शहर ऐसा रहा है कि हमेशा, क्योंकि ये मेट्रोपोलिटन सिटी है, यहाँ पे दुनिया भर के लोग रहते हैं. लेकिन बीजेपी का हमेशा एक खेल रहा है जो डिवाइड एंड रूल वाला, उसके आधार पर वो कभी जाति के आधार पर, कभी प्रांत के आधार पर, कभी भाषा के आधार पर लोगों को डिवाइड करो और राजनीति करो. ये जो बीजेपी की चाल रही है, उसी के अंदर में ये महाराष्ट्र अभी फंसा हुआ है. तो जिस तरह से क्योंकि ये तो था ही नहीं, कोई इन्हें नया सर्कुलर निकालने की जरूरत ही नहीं थी. ऑलरेडी सर्कुलर निकालकर जनता के मूल इशू को उन लोगों ने डाइवर्ट करने की व्यवस्था बनाई. पर ये राजनीति करने का काम ये लोग कर रहे हैं, जिससे महाराष्ट्र का नुकसान हो रहा है. महाराष्ट्र के उद्योग यहाँ से जा रहे गुजरात, महाराष्ट्र बेरोजगारों का महाराष्ट्र बनते जा रहा है, महाराष्ट्र की बदनामी होते जा रही है. मुंबई ये देश की आर्थिक राजधानी है और इसको बर्बाद करने का काम राज्य की सरकार कर रही है और ये स्पष्ट हम सब लोगों को दिख रहा है.
कहना है कि भाजपा जिम्मेदार है ये पूरी घटनाक्रम के लिए कि बार बार किसी जो शॉपकीपर है उसको थप्पड़ मार दिया जाता है और जो हो रहा है. तो लेकिन शिवसेना जो उद्धव ठाकरे का है, वो तो आपके सहयोगी दल हैं, वो क्यों इसमें आग डाल रहे हैं?
नहीं, देखो, अलायंस कोई एग्रीमेंट नहीं बनता. अलायंस का तो जैसे अभी ये जो महाराष्ट्र की सरकार है, वो 3 पार्टी की सरकार है, उनका कोई एग्रीमेंट नहीं है. हमारा भी कोई इनसे एग्रीमेंट नहीं है. अपने अपने विचारधारा के आधार पर राजनीति सभी दलों को करने का अधिकार होता है, लेकिन हम लोग उनमें कहीं इन्वॉल्व नहीं हुए, क्योंकि हम लोग नहीं चाहते, क्योंकि हम संविधान को मानने वाले लोग हैं और सर्वधर्म समभाव की जो भूमिका है भाषा का वाद, क्योंकि हमारे देश की पहचान ही ऐसी है कि विविध भाषा, विविध धर्म, विविध जाति, और ये सब रहने के बाद भी फिर भी हिंदुस्तान हमारा एक है। यही भूमिका को हमेशा कांग्रेस ने माना है। जो महाराष्ट्र में चल रहा है कि हिंदी भाषी को मारा जा रहा है, ये बात को हम लोग कभी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते। और सबका सम्मान होना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज का महाराष्ट्र है। जिस महाराज ने सब धर्म समभाव की भूमिका लेकर महाराष्ट्र को खड़ा किया था, महाराष्ट्र का स्वाभिमान को खड़ा किया था, वो महाराष्ट्र को अगर महायुति की सरकार अगर बदनाम कर रही है तो कदापि ये हम लोग एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे। और महाराष्ट्र की जनता को यही बताएंगे कि महाराष्ट्र को तोड़ने का काम बीजेपी प्रायोजित जो महाराष्ट्र की सरकार है वो कर रही है, और महाराष्ट्र की जनता ने भी इनको माफ नहीं करना चाहिए।
लेकिन इस इशू ने उद्धव ठाकरे और राज ठाकरे को फिर से करीब कर दिया है। लगभग 20 साल के बाद वो लोग फिर से एक बार मंच पर एक बार साथ में दिखे हैं। तो नाना पटोले, मेरा सवाल ये होगा कि ये माना जा रहा है कि ये सब बीएमसी चुनाव से जुड़ा हुआ है, और बीएमसी चुनाव में अगर कांग्रेस का यही स्टैंड रहा जो आप बोल रहे हैं तो उससे आपको दिक्कत नहीं होगी?
नहीं, इसका तो हम विरोध करते हैं और सरकार प्रायोजित है। मैंने इसलिए कहा कि मुख्यमंत्री ने अभी स्टेटमेंट किया था कि हम ऐसे लोगों को छोड़ेंगे नहीं। अरे तो तुमको रोका किसने? तुम्हारी तो मेजोरिटी की गवर्नमेंट है, तुमको रोका किसने? और इसलिए अब सरकार प्रायोजित मैं कह रहा हूं कि सरकार अपने सत्ता का दुरुपयोग कर रही है और महाराष्ट्र को तोड़ रही है। और ये जो प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा है, जिस तरह से आज मंत्री को भी लोगों ने भगाया, उसकी गाड़ी के कांच फोड़े, पत्थरवाह किया, तो हम हमेशा एक बात कह रहे थे कि ये सरकार जनता के बीच में से नहीं आई है, बेईमानी से सरकार आई है। और उसका परिणाम आज आपने देखा होगा कि लोगों ने इनके एक मंत्री को आज वहां पर मीरा भाईंदर में भगाया, पत्थर मार के भगाया। ये तो वास्तविकता है। और रही चुनाव की बात, जो है चुनाव, क्योंकि ये सरकार अपने जो वादे इन लोगों ने किए थे, सरकार इसमें फेल हो गई। केंद्र की सरकार हो या राज्य की सरकार हो, ये इसमें फेल हो गए। इसलिए लोगों को डाइवर्ट करने के लिए इस तरह का हिंदी भाषी को यहाँ पे पकड़ के मारने का काम जो शुरू किया गया है, और सरकार देख रही है, सरकार इन लोगों के ऊपर कार्रवाई नहीं कर रही है।
All right, Nana Patole, appreciate your time. Let me bring in the guests who are joining us now. Manisha Kayande is a member of Legislative Council in Maharashtra and spokesperson of the Shiv Sena. Akhil Chitre is leader of the Shiv Sena UBT faction. Manoj Giri is a leader of MNS, and Rohit Chandravarkar is a senior journalist. Manoj Giri, it's very clear that UBT and of course MNS are united on this issue. But the question is, are you ignoring the fact that Mumbai has been built by people who take pride in the idea that they are working in Mumbai? I mean, it has nothing to do with being anti-Marathi. They can be a Mumbaiker working in Mumbai. Why are you targeting them? उनको टारगेट क्यों कर रहे हैं मनोज गिरी आप लोग?
नहीं, फर्स्ट थिंग मैं आपको बता दूं, बहुत क्लियर कर लूं, किसी को भी कोई भी टारगेट नहीं कर रहा है, ठीक है। अभी जो भी ये चीजें दिखाई जा रही है, आधी चीजें दिखाई जा रही हैं। आपने जो वीडियो देखा, वो आपने वीडियो देखा 40 सेकेंड का, ठीक है। वो किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के लीडर ने उसको डाला उस पे, ठीक है। लेकिन वो वीडियो जो है वो डेढ़ मिनट का 1.30 सेकेंड्स का है। आप उसको अगर पूरा वीडियो देखेंगे तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि हुआ क्या था, ठीक है। उसको मैं आपको थोड़ा सा जानकारी दे दूं कि उस दिन जिया रद्द होने के दो जिया जो रद्द हुए थे, उसका सेलिब्रेशन शिवसेना और मनसे के कार्यकर्ता कंबाइन में कर रहे थे, ठीक है। तो वो जोधपुर स्वीट मार्ट है, जो दुकान है, वहां पे ही उन बच्चों ने वहां से जाके लड्डू खरीदा और फिर लोगों को बांटा, ठीक है। फिर बाद में
जो आज हुआ है उसके लिए आप किसको जिम्मेदार समझते हैं? आपको लगता है जो अरेस्ट हुए हैं, डिटेंशंस हुए हैं आज, वो सही कदम लिया है देवेंद्र फडणवीस की सरकार ने?
आप देखिए, अगर यहाँ पे व्यापारी लोगों ने कुछ दिन पहले निकाला था, मोर्चा निकाला, तो उन्हें क्यों नहीं रोका गया? उनके खिलाफ उनको क्यों नहीं अंदर डाला गया? वो भी बहुत संख्या में थे, बहुत ज्यादा संख्या में थे। उस दिन दुकानें बंद थी, तो उनके लिए कोई मोर्चा क्यों नहीं निकला? उनका मोर्चा क्यों नहीं रोका गया? उनके लिए कोई बंदोबस्त क्यों नहीं किया गया? आज अगर मराठी मानुस है, राज साहब का है, अगर उन्होंने बोला था और मेरा भाईंदर के लोगों ने अगर मराठी मानुस ने सब इकट्ठा होके अगर वो निकाल रहे आंदोलन, शांतिपूर्ण आंदोलन था, उन्होंने सिर्फ मार्च करना था, वो बालाजी सर्कल पे जमा होके वहां से उनको स्टेशन तक कौस्तुभ चौक तक जाना था, वहां पे उनको प्रोटेस्ट करना था। उन्होंने तो कुछ किया नहीं ना उसमें कोई।
But this entire protest, interestingly, Manisha, also saw one of your ministers join in. Of course, he was heckled and was asked to leave the protest site. But the question is, what really is happening? I mean, why is the BJP wanting the two brothers to come together? Because Raj Thackerays famously said over the weekend when he addressed that big gathering that what Balasaheb Thackeray could not do, Devendra Fadnavis achieved.
Well, keeping that aside, the main fact is that MNS was protesting against the GR that the government brought in, okay, regarding the third language, Hindi, that is perceived to be compulsory, which was not, it is not 100% correct. Okay, it is a third optional Indian language, which I think was mistaken that it is Hindi is compulsory. So any person who is in a particular school, say I am in the first standard and I am a Maharashtrian, obviously I would choose Hindi, or if I want to choose Telugu, Tamil, anything, any of the Indian language. Now keep that part aside. The two MNS and the UBT came together on this issue. I think the UBT just got a chance to jump into something which was originally not theirs. It was entirely the credit of the MNS. UBT got into the bandwagon, they jumped into the bus and tried to grab the limelight. Uddhav Thackeray fraction tried to grab the limelight. That is what I want to say. Secondly, today our minister went there because Maharashtra Ekikaran Samiti had organized a morcha. As per the police and as per the home minister of the state, everybody said that they were asked to follow a different route. But our minister was totally against it. Even we are totally against it. I mean, why they were asked to take a separate route? They should have been allowed to take the same route as the protest carried out by the non-Marathi merchants. And our minister, Pratap Sarnaik, dared to go there. He did not, he had the courage to go there and face whatever was perceived to happen. He was heckled. Nobody threw stones. Somebody said that stones were thrown. No stones were thrown. A bottle was flinged at him. But he courageously remained there for the cause of the Marathi language. And let me tell you, it was Honorable Eknathji Shinde as the CM who brought the status of classical language for Marathi. So we are completely with the Marathi people and the Marathi language. And anybody who insults Marathi language, if anybody who says कि हम Marathi नहीं बोलेंगे, okay, if they show disrespect, then of course they will face certain things.
Okay, but
listen, one last sentence. But somebody needs to learn a language. You suddenly can't expect somebody to talk in that language. He needs some time. Okay, you can give time, you can learn. But if somebody insults, that is not correct.
No, but I don't see...
As the MNS worker,
no, but
as the MNS person who is sitting here, Mr. Giri, I think.
Yes.
You didn't allow him to complete. See, the video that was shown of beating the person, he said, Marathi nahi seekhenge to kya ho gaya? So that was something which he should have avoided.
Who should have avoided?
Yeah, he should have said, okay, I will like to learn Marathi. But if somebody says, kya hoga, nahi karenge to kya dekh lenge? See, this is what causes
no, but
tension.
Manisha, I mean, the stand of the Shiv Sena of that is your party is of course similar to what MNS and UBT is saying. How is that different?
No, listen, there is a difference.
You believe in this kind of hooliganism?
UBT is just trying to grab limelight. They are trying to jump into the running train. Okay, they have done nothing for the Marathi Manus. UBT has done nothing. So hordes of Marathi people leaving the town. They did nothing. We brought in a policy for Marathi people to come back to the city.
Okay.
We are making a housing policy. We gave classical language.
So Akhil, both the brothers realize that this is of course an entry point in which they can get the limelight, and of course this is an issue which can unite the people of Maharashtra in favor of Balasaheb Thackerays, legatees. Of course that legacy debate was settled long ago, but then coming together of the two cousins will be seen as that emotional or emotive issue which was so far missing from this entire jigsaw puzzle.
See, first of all, I would like to put some facts in front of you. You heard everyone, I just heard what Mr. Giri said, what Kayanda ma'am said, but there is a factual thing which you need to realize about today's incident. 1 week back, there was a Bharatiya Janata Party sponsored so-called Traders Association protest, which had been conducted, which had on the streets of Mira. Okay, now you can ask your Mumbai team, which is there on the ground, reporters, that in Mira Bhainder, how many shops are there? But there were thousands of so-called shopkeepers and traders who were on the streets. They were not shopkeepers and traders. They were Bharatiya Janata Party's official members. I can share the video and photographs with you if required. And the other day when that rally was being conducted on the streets of Mira Bhainder, there was no stoppage by the government in which this Shiv Sena, Shiv Sena Gut and BJP is there. They are the ruling party. And the police also never interrupted them. But today, when on the same route, the Marathi Ekikaran Samiti was on the verge to have a rally there, the police stopped them. Maharashtra Navanirman Sena activists were being arrested in the night so that they could not attend the rally. Shiv Sena activists were being arrested so that they could not attend the rally. So how many arrests were made when this Traders Association were having their rally last week? So all this kind of thing which this government is...
So you are essentially saying that the government is approving this kind of hooliganism, and that is the reason why if you protest and then the detention happens, there is some kind of collusion here. Okay, we'll try and connect. Akhil,
Hello?
if you heard me.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So this whole situation is been created by the government itself.
Okay, so Manisha, you have created it. Is your government, so you have to explain.
Created in Maharashtra on the streets of
Eknath
Mumbai.
Shinde is the Deputy Chief Minister.
Who is promoting all this?
Well, Maria, I think the Minister Pratap Sarnaik has clarified that he did not like the police action. There was no need to detain them. There was no need to arrest them. That is what our Minister Pratap Sarnaik has said categorically. And he is going to talk to the Chief Minister, and who is incidentally the Home Minister also. Because if the traders were allowed to have a morcha, even the Marathi Ekikaran Samiti should have been allowed to organize the morcha. And they were just, as per what the minister said, the other minister said that they were asked to change the route, for which they were not agreeing. So I think that police need to also explain. And even the BJP, as the Chief Minister, I think you can ask the question to the Chief Minister also, who is incidentally the Home Minister.
Okay, so the BJP has to explain. Rohit Chandravarkar, it appears certainly that there is some kind of fanning of ambitions here, which has been done by the BJP, and it could be very strategic, because by enabling MNS, it could very well be dividing the Marathi votes or keeping UBT off balance.
So that's where the story ends actually. To begin with, I'd like to just say that, the politicians in Maharashtra are achieving fantastic things nowadays. This is a peaceful state, industrial state. Just June figures show that the state has given 30,000 crore rupee GST revenue, which is the highest not just the highest, but it's equal to 5 or 6 states put together, etc. This is a very highly progressing state, industrialized state, where before every election, what our politicians have achieved is some kind of polarization. Before the Lok Sabha polls and assembly polls, you saw caste-based polarization. Before the Mumbai municipal and Thane municipal polls, you see the linguistic polarization. So that's a achievement, so to speak. Keeping that apart, I'd like to give you the picture. What is happening now is the general impression that everybody is talking about is that Uddhav Thackeray and Raj Thackerays have come together. But look, what the BJP is doing right now by bringing in this Hindi government resolution and other things is that they are empowering Raj Thackerays. So Raj Thackerays, who was not doing very badly in recent polls, etc., is now getting empowered, and his men are seen out on the street, and he gets empowered. And I can guarantee you that Raj and Uddhav are going to fight separately in the upcoming polls. So what is happening right now, to give your national viewers, general picture and conclusion of what exactly the picture is that I don't think that viewers in Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai and other places are interested in what route was approved by police and what route for the Morcha was not approved. The larger picture is that Raj Thackerays is getting empowered, and he is going to cut into Uddhav Thackeray's votes, which is going to help the BJP in the upcoming polls in Maharashtra. Which means that the Marathi vote, which is going to count a lot in the Mumbai municipal polls, Thane, Navi Mumbai, Pune, all the municipal polls, including Nashik also, because that's where also we have a lot of migrants. That Marathi sentiment, or the Marathi vote getting, Marathi sentiment getting galvanized is what you see on the streets and in your window right now.
No, but
central visuals that you are playing. That's going to help.
But Rohit,
Raj Thackerays,
it cannot be a controlled narrative, particularly after the cousins, the Thackere brothers sharing the dais. I mean, the BJP may have, thought about it on those lines, but how do you control the ambitions after they have come together?
Yes,
the first in 20 years.
Maria, what I wrote in an English publication just 5 days ago in Mumbai is that Raj and Uddhav coming together is because there is huge pressure from their supporters to come together.
Yes.
There might be crores of Manasainiks and Shiv Sainiks who want Raj and Uddhav to come together. So they had to put up some optics showing their supporters they are likely to come together, and that got a huge response. But when it comes to politics, when it comes to elections, what we know for sure is that they share the same vote bank. They share the Marathi vote bank. They share the same geographic, political map, and they cannot share that with each other. They have too many people who are aspiring for candidature.
Exactly.
There are too many people who want to become corporators, MLAs later, and they have to keep everybody satisfied. So take my word, they are going to fight the elections separately. They might have put up some show in Mumbai, which is great optics and which became headlines in regional media like anything for 2 days. But mark my words, they are going to fight elections
Rohit,
separately, and that's going to finally
I'm going to go with your words, and if you get it right, I will be speaking to you, and if you get it wrong, I'll be speaking to you either ways. So Manisha, Akhil, Manoj and Rohit Chandravarkar, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Shifting focus to another story now. 2 more MLAs have now spoken out, adding fuel to the simmering fire over the leadership tug of war between Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddaramaiah, and his deputy, DK Shivakumar. Congress MLA CP Yogeshwar echoed the sentiments and endorsed Shivakumar for the Chief Minister's role. Senior leader and former minister Tanveer Saith has openly said that the party must remain open to change. It's not the first time voices within the Congress have hinted or outright stated that a leadership transition may be on the horizon, and it's not the first time that questions have been raised over who really holds the reins in Karnataka, the mass leader at the helm or the organizational strongman waiting in the wings. But here's the bigger question. Is the Karnataka Congress heading towards a crisis of dual power centers, or are these just negotiated rumblings, part of a complex internal pact that has always been fragile. Let's not forget that when the Congress returned to power in 2023, it was a compromise formula that sealed the top posts, with Siddaramaiah getting the Chief Minister's chair and DK Shivakumar was placated with the Deputy Chief Minister's post and the promise of an eventual rotation. So how far is that eventual? And with every new statement that is coming in from the Congress MLA, it's clearly signaling that there is much more that is playing out within the Karnataka Congress. Before I bring in our analyst on this story, let's listen in to what MLA CP Yogeshwar said.
ಹೌದ್ರಿ, ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ಶಾಸಕರು ಒಗ್ಗಟ್ಟಿನಿಂದ ಅವರು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಡಿ ಕೆ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಮಗೇನು ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಭಿನ್ನವಾದಂಥ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ಜನಾಭಿಪ್ರಾಯನೂ ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಶಾಸಕರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
Let me bring in BS Arun, senior journalist. BS Arun, last week this was perhaps the big story, but it was all put to rest after the Congress in charge of Karnataka said that all's well and that there is no question of any change of guard. But with every statement that is coming in from the Karnataka Congress MLAs, do you sense that this could eventually lead to two power centers, if not immediate change of guard?
See, even if there are going to be two power centers, it's only until the next chief minister is selected and until he takes over as the chief minister. So as of now, DK Shivakumar is sort of the man of the moment, and the state might see a change of guard come October or November, when Siddaramaiah would complete 2.5 years of his term as CM. So in Congress, the MLAs have started speaking up, and this is only to be expected because in Congress such things do happen. And Congress had been giving, the leadership had been giving, sort of indications over the last couple of months, especially about, the possible change of leadership. To give two instances in the last couple of weeks. One was the caste census, where Siddaramaiah's pet caste census, which took place about 10 years ago, and on which he had called a cabinet meeting, and he was asked to defer it, and he was asked to announce a new caste census because the earlier one was already 10 years old. But the actual fact was the Lingayats and Vokkaligas, the two powerful communities of Karnataka, had opposed it tooth and nail because the caste census had given, great figures for the other, like Muslims and scheduled castes, compared to Lingayats and Vokkaligas, whose number had come down, because of which, their power in the cabinet, in various other, and then appointments and seats in the educational institutions would have come down. So they opposed it, and Congress was quite scared that they might lose support of both these two communities. Already, the Lingayats have moved away from Congress, and they don't want to lose the support of Vokkaligas also. So in such a situation, the Congress leadership thought it's better not to go ahead with the caste census. And the second one, Maria, was the selection of candidates for the MLC's post by Siddaramaiah. The four names were there, and they had been sent to the governor. But what the Congress leadership did was to tell Siddaramaiah to call back that list. So that list was called back. Imagine, from the governor, the CM had sent the list had gone to the governor. Governor perhaps was about to approve it, but the CM told the governor, please don't consider it. So the list has been recalled. Now the High Command is going to, sit on that and maybe approve a new list. So these are two very recent, sort of embarrassment caused to the Chief Minister. And at the same time, the man behind asking the High Command not to approve the caste census was none other than DK Shivakumar, who had opposed the caste census.
Yes, so but B.S. Arun, one may say that the Congress leadership is also being unfair to DK Shivakumar.
Well, one has to, see how
generational change is inevitable, and he is someone who has been a Congress loyalist. has been a troubleshooter, there's everything going right with him, then why should he be made to wait for so long?
Undoubtedly, Siddaramaiah had more number of supporters among the MLAs. So, knowing that fully well, Congress High Command would not have taken a risk of making Shivakumar, wait for another 2.5 years. And mind you, Shivakumar had been a total loyalist of the party for the last so many decades. Whereas they might not be very sure of Siddaramaiah and his supporters. Siddaramaiah himself came from Janata Dal. He was not the original congressman. So maybe that one and his support base among the MLAs must have, forced this high command to make Siddaramaiah the chief minister. And finally, after some 3 or 4 days of confabulations, Shivakumar agreed to what the high command said. And we have been sort of given to believe that there is going to be a change of leadership after 2.5 years of Siddaramaiah's rule, which is going to end by October, November. So Karnataka might see, if the High Command handles the situation well, that's well and good for the party.
Yes.
Everything depends on that and how the High Command
yes,
will
because
handle
what we have seen, B.S. Arun, in state after state, the Congress has almost let go of its second generation of leaders because it was trying to manage the ambitions of the party veterans or old watchdogs of the Congress party. B.S. Arun, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. On that note, we are slipping into a short break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be coming back with an interesting issue. There is what clearly is now a mobile phone menace. How can you save your children? We'll try and find some answers to that. Stay with us.
Slapgate thugs were the foot soldiers of the MNS's hypocrisy. Rahil Sheikh is the unfiltered poster boy.
NDTV forces police action. Big NDTV coverage impact live.
This entire war of political fiasco has turned into a question of identity.
They had said that North Indians should not stay over here.
मुझे ये समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है कि इनको करना क्या है.
MNS thugs bundled into buses. Thackerays thugs in escalation mode.
The MNS Slapgate incident, the MNS rally was in response to that.
There was no permission given by Meera Road police.
अगर पुलिस की हिम्मत रहेगी तो पुलिस प्रताप सरनाईक को गिरफ्तार करके दिखाए.
Shameless, remorseless, soulless. Will Raj Thackerays keep instigating? Mumbai goons, your time is up. NDTV live amidst the MNS meltdown.
Finessa windows, beautiful and durable designs. Installation से maintenance की lifelong customer service. आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Find finer Finesta.
But I'd like to start this off by asking you, Vishnu, what you think about the whole question of India not having stealth fighters right now.
It's a huge
Everyone's
problem.
trying to sell them to us as well.
It's a huge problem, Shiv. Let's face it, in as much as we love the Rafale aircraft and the Indian Air Force is completely vouching for it, perhaps they'd like more than 100 more. The Indian Navy has just gotten into an order for 26 Rafale M aircraft. There is a generation gap between the Rafale and the stealth. There is a good reason why a stealth platform is called a 5th generation aircraft and a Rafale is a 4th or 4.5 generation aircraft, and that is low observability. So in as much as the Rafale has brilliant sensors, both in terms of its radar, its defensive suite, its electronic warfare suite, its towed array decoy system, it is not typically a low observability platform in quite the same manner in which a stealth aircraft is. Its design form is different. And therefore, if Pakistan does have low observable aircraft, which would be the J-35, in fact, the first ones might even start entering service or coming into the PAF ahead of entering service at some time this year, then India is in trouble.
So
Why?
this year? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first could actually start coming in this year. They're really pushing for it. and they've gotten apparently into some agreement with the Chinese to ensure that the funding is done on very loose and terms favorable to Pakistan, as has been in the case in the past. If Pakistan starts acquiring low platforms which are low observable, in other words,
and strict instructions have now been issued by MNS chief Raj Thackerays to his party workers that they should not speak to the media. And the spokespersons have also been told that they should not react to the media. Also, with his permission only can they put out a social media post. In fact, a long message on his X handle he has put out saying a clear directive: no one from the party should interact with newspapers, news channels or any digital media. Likewise, absolutely do not post videos of your reactions or on social media. And those spokespersons officially assigned the responsibility of interacting with the media should also not engage with any form of media without consulting me or obtaining my permission, nor should they express themselves on social media. Abhishek, the question is, why this gag? Is MNS chief realizing that this has gone too far? That this kind of hooliganism by his party men has gone too far, and now with the detentions which have happened today, they have to really try and control this narrative, because MNS workers are appearing to be hooligans on the streets of Mumbai now. They are not really appearing as party workers trying to engage with the people at large. So the strict gag order being issued by Raj Thackerays himself through his handle that his party spokespersons can't speak, that his party leaders can't interact with any newspapers or news channels. So which essentially means that from tomorrow onwards there will be no MNS spokesperson on any of the discussions or debates that we do on the channels. We will try and connect with a reporter on this story, but it's very clear that that Raj Thackerays perhaps feeling the heat of what has been a repeated violation of law and order in the state of Maharashtra. Shiv is joining us live. So Shiv, Raj Thackerays deciding to gag his party men. Okay, we'll try and connect with Shiv in just a bit. Remember, this has been aggressive NDTV campaign where we have been taking this up clearly and on every day for the last few days. Our MNS chief realizing that perhaps his party leaders have gone too far. Now a clear directive coming in from Raj Thackerays. Shiv joins us live. Shiv, give us the details.
Can you hear me, Maria?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so let's quickly tell you that this is unprecedented in the history of the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena. What we're actually seeing here play out is a huge twist 1 week after NDTV actually began its coverage. The spotlight that it cast.
Shiv, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, apologies to our viewers for these technical difficulties. This is a huge twist that we are reporting right now. It's a live breaking story. It's a news break that comes 1 week after NDTV began its coverage of the MNS Gundaraj in Maharashtra. And I'm not aware of a single instance in history of the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena where Raj Thackerays has issued a gag order on a party, the party membership, the party cadre, spokespersons in a party that has always been very confrontational, very vocal, very aggressive, very hostile, frequently manifests its opinion with either vandalism or violence, and certainly with harsh words. To be issued a gag order shows that Raj Thackerays and the MNS are certainly feeling the heat and maybe thinking twice about the manner in which citizens are actually seeing them. Now, it's one thing to actually gag spokespersons to talk about what they put out on social media, including the designated and gazetted spokespersons of the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena. But it's quite another thing to issue a blanket gag order to all members of the party from speaking speaking to newspapers, the press, expressing themselves on social media, coming on TV channels like they have been on NDTV as well, because it basically means that it looks like the MNS has realized they are losing the narrative. So far, they've been thinking that this traction that they are getting, is ingratiating them and making them look really good like heroes in the eyes of the people of Mumbai and the Marathi community in general. But exactly the opposite has clearly been happening, and that's what we've been highlighting here on NDTV, that the Marathi people have gone a big distance away from the kind of vandalism and violence represented by the MNS, and that is perhaps why realization may have dawned. There are political compulsions as well. Action to be taken by the government has been promised. There are allies and friends of the MNS that have been forced and embarrassed enough to come out and actually point at the MNS and say we condemn their behavior. The VIP brat who continues to be on the loose has witheringly embarrassed Raj Thackerays and his party, because it has exposed them to be standing for the very sorts of things that they try and attack, and stand for the common people when they've only proven to be the same kind of VIP thugs that every other party perhaps has represented. And I think all of this has come down like a ton of bricks on Raj Thackerays and forced him to issue this blanket gag order before they can kind of regroup and figure out what their next step really needs to be.
All right, Shivaru, thank you so much for joining us. Shifting focus to another story now, and this is not just a health advisory. It's a wake-up call for parents, for schools, and for all of us. The Ghaziabad Health Department has raised a red flag. An advisory warns of an alarming spike in mobile phone addiction among teenagers. The concern, you may ask, not just that kids are spending more time on screens, but what that time is doing to their minds, bodies, and relationships. From eye strain to obesity, from disturbed sleep to mood swings, the symptoms are growing, and they are not just physical. According to an AIMS study, over 33% of teenagers showed signs of depression, and a quarter of them were anxious. That's not just data, that's a generation in distress. And at the heart of it is a screen. The screen. A device that connects them to the world, but is slowly disconnecting them from their own selves and their own families. There was a tech survey which was done, which actually revealed that 60% of children between the age group of 5 to 16 are already at risk of mobile addiction. 80% cross the recommended screen time daily. 85% parents admit they struggle to control what their kids are consuming online, and yet only 10% use parental control tools. Why? So tonight we ask, are we outsourcing parenting to devices? Are mobile phones becoming digital pacifiers for modern families? And while we worry about what children are watching, are we watching our children enough then? It's not just about time spent on phones, it's about what's lost in this process. Real conversation, playgrounds, books, sleep and mental balance, and trust between parent and child. The health warnings are no longer subtle. Neck and back pain, headaches, irregular eating, social withdrawals, and even anger disorders. The signs are all around us. But why? Are we willing to look up? The question is, but are we really willing to look up from our own screens and see them? What can we do? Limit screen time, replace scrolling with sports, make family meals tech-free, talk, observe, listen, seek help when things spiral, because digital detox isn't just a trend. It has to be something which is almost like a lifeline now, because what we are up against, it isn't just an addiction, it's a silent epidemic. And if we don't act now, we risk raising a generation that's constantly connected to devices but is disconnected from themselves. Joining me on the show tonight is Dr. Neelam Mohan, who is a Senior Director of Pediatrics at Medanta. We have Dr. Jyoti Gupta, Director of the Shri Ram Universal School, Ghaziabad. Seema Tyagi is the President of Ghaziabad Parents Association. And Dr. Deepak Raheja is the Director and Chief Psychiatrist at Hope Care, India. Seema Tyagi, how is this circular being viewed by the parents?
Maria, first of all, I want to thanks to team NDTV for raising such a current issue which is spoiling our teenagers. Not only teenagers, this is spoiling our adult generation, and all of us are also the victims of this. And thanks to the CMO of Ghaziabad for giving his concern for this issue. And we as a parent association are welcoming this decision. Actually, what is happening, these things are spoiling our teenagers, our students, and even our schools also. Even today also, after COVID time, some schools are giving the directions, instructions on the phone to children. Not only the schools, we as a mother, as a parent, we are also giving them in their hands. The small kids whom the mother wants to feed with milk bottle, she is giving her phone in the child's hand. The child will first listen the song or see the video, then he will finish his milk. By this excessive use of this thing, we are spoiling the IQ, EQ and SQ of our children. Emotional quotient भी जा रहा है, इंटेलिजेंट क्वेश्चन भी जा रहा है और सोशल क्वेश्चन भी जा रहा है. और जो मेन रीजन है इस सब के पीछे, दैट इज लैक ऑफ द कम्युनिकेशन इन द फैमिली, जिसको हम कहते हैं कि परिवार संवाद, उसकी कमी है. पेरेंट्स हैव नो टाइम फॉर देयर चिल्ड्रन.
Absolutely, but Dr. Neelam Mohan, the problem, as you said, that while we look at the communication within the family, what about schools, and what is becoming clear is that there is some kind of outsourcing of parenting to devices. That's a viewpoint as well.
Thanks, Maria. Do I take that?
Yes, please. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah,
Dr. Mohan.
Actually, I think it's no more a concern of the parent challenges. I think it has become a public health issue. It's no more related to any state. It's a national issue that we're talking, because you have also given so many points about health, which was physical, mental, and behavioral problems. Because when you see screens, sometimes facts need to be told to children too. So the screen, when you see the blue light, that will reduce your melatonin and reduce the sleep. So huge amount of studies, whether it was Lancet study and also an Indian study in 2022, showed when you have more than 3 hours, you have 40% sleep issues. So these are all there. But I think to answer this, we need a 3H4, view of handling it. One is the parents. The parents need to have some, like phone hygiene, I would say, or a screen hygiene. They need to emphasize how much time they're going to allow for their children, and at the same time need to track what their children are seeing, because you need to realize that there is a dopamine release when they see certain reels, certain videos, certain games, and that is like an addiction. So this dopamine addiction, it happens and they don't know how they fall into that addiction. Second, you should not allow during eating time or 1 hour before sleep, because that again is going to hinder your sleep and obesity due to decreased physical activity and its problems like diabetes, fatty liver, and other issues that is there. School need to ensure a ban in this school. And third and most important thing that I need to say is that there should be a policy, because it's not a parental, it's also becoming a public health issue. So policies, I mean the government also needs to, increase the educational campaign in this regard, like NDTV is doing, and social association like Indian Academy of Pediatrics and Association of 50,000 pediatricians. We are also trying our best to come forward with various ways of education to parents and to talk to them, because they are in direct connection with parents and schools, awareness programs about the digital detox. So I think having youth ambassadors is going to make a lot of effect, because youth have realized, the Gen Z and the Alpha generation have now realized that what harm is doing, and they are more receptive, and their children are going to listen to the youth. So youth ambassadors that UNICEF is propagating is a good way where they should talk about the real life stories about them, how it has impacted and given problems like depression and anxiety in more than a quarter of these children.
Yes. So Dr. Jyoti Gupta, as someone who runs a school, is there some class, are you holding some classes to explain to the children how the phone addiction is impacting them, from obesity to disturbed sleep to mood swings and several such symptoms?
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of sessions in the school which are addressing the screen time, the digital time that the children are spending, the instant gratification that is there because of the screens, use of mobile phones. There are a lot of sessions on cybersecurity. There are a lot of sessions on how to behave when the devices are around, or when the digital screens are around. There are sessions not just for the children, there are sessions for the parents as well, because it's actually the parents who are buying the devices for the children. The children below 18 can't even buy the SIMs on their own name. It is the parents' IP addresses which are being used to surf the net. It is the parents' addresses and names which are being used to buy the mobile phones. Actually, before the COVID came in, there was a lot of debate whether the devices are good for the children or they are not good for the children. But during the COVID, it was the devices which made sure that the children did not waste a year, and they had the continued support from the schools. And thereafter, when the new national education policy came in, there is a huge role of ICT and self-learning that is there through the devices. But there are then countries like Australia which have come up with the policies, that is the social media that the children are on should be banned till a particular age, like the age of 14. So where the habits are forming, like what Dr. Mohan was also saying right now, the age group where the habits are forming, where the children need to know that it is important for them to go outside and play for an hour, for 2 hours, and they need to spend time with the books to read, and they need to understand that their posture is very important. So if they are with the screens in their hand all the time, their hands start paining, their necks start paining. So there are a lot of sessions that the school doctors are also.
Yes, Dr. Raheja, your thoughts. This is the first of its kind.
Students and
first
now
of its
the
kind,
devices
like
are
the government
there.
has raised it.
We all know there's a lot of digital content.
Yes, Dr. Raheja, your thoughts, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. I didn't get the question, I'm sorry.
Yes, so the question is that this is the Ghaziabad Health Department which has of course raised a red flag. An advisory has been issued as well. The concerns are real. Usually we have seen this being raised by parents and schools. Now it appears that it is being taken up at a more administrative level, at a more district level, or perhaps at the government level at some stage as well.
So if you've gone through that advisory, I think it is very, very well curated, and it's very apt, and it does signify, it does make evident the challenges that we are seeing in people in day-to-day life. I mean, the children are coming with problems that are atypical that you'd see in that age bracket. You are seeing symptoms of pseudo ADHD. There are cognitive deficits. Like some of the surveys have pointed out that the incidence of anxiety has gone up many folds, almost in some studies saying 30 to 40%, then we are almost dealing with a generation that is losing the skill to be able to manage and develop the interpersonal relationships, the skills that are required for them to have a maturity level. You're increasingly finding adolescents who are 15 or 16 and they have cognitive expressions or understanding that might regress to a 9 or 10-year-old, clearly signifying that their ability to maturely process and have the resilience that is imposed by the challenges of the day-to-day life is going down. So you're finding that we are falling and succumbing to cheap dopamine. When it's not really just the screen time which is concerned and that's been flagged, but it's the kind of content that is being consumed, and that content kind of gives stimulation in certain mesolimbic areas in the brain that makes the child almost habituated to reaching out and yearning for those trickles of dopamine. So the attention span goes down. He's not able to deal with boredom.
Dr. Rahejas, we have really come to the end of this discussion. So thank you so much for joining us. Perhaps we will be having more of these conversations which are needed at this point. So Dr. Rahejas, Dr. Neelam, Seema Tyagi and Dr. Jyoti Gupta, really appreciate your time. That's all from me on this edition of The Last Word. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Vishnu Shom joins you next with Left, Right and Centre.
Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस. आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Fine, finer, Fenesta.
If it matters to you, 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 it matters to India, it matters to India, it matters to India, it matters to India, and it matters to me, and it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivakumar, only on NDTV 24/7.
Some say sport is a matter of life and death. The truth is, it is far more serious than that. Sport is about ecstasy and agony, about pain and suffering, about joy and much more. Some say there's no one better to tell these stories.
Good evening, welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the programme this evening, a heated dispute has erupted between the social media platform X and the government over the blocking of over 2,000 accounts, including those of the international news agency Reuters. Now, X claims the government ordered the blocks on the 3rd of July under the IT Act, demanding compliance within an hour without justification. Now, the move, which temporarily restricted Reuters' main and world accounts in India, did result lots of reactions, but the government of India has fight back with the Electronics and IT Ministry denying issuing any fresh orders and clarifying that it took Reuters, it took X 21 hours to unblock Reuters. That's something that they'd urged X to do. But there are tensions, and this is ultimately a debate between the freedom of speech and expression versus, for example, national